In order to add building blocks to Canva, you'll want to have a pro account and you'll want to be logged in. And the first thing I like to go is go to my projects or my folder tab. And then I go to my folder section just because it gives me a cleaner view. From here, you can add a new folder and call that building blocks. Or in my case, I'm going to actually add this into the Bloom Boss Mastermind example folder that I've been creating. I've got other folders here as well. And I'm going to click add folder. Name it building blocks, and then that pops up here. From here, I can go inside. I can upload all of these into a single folder, but for organization's sake, I'm going to add new folders. I'm going to create one folder, and I'm going to call this numbers. And then I'm going to create another folder, and I'm going to call this rounds. And then I'm going to create another folder, and I'm going to call this helium. I'm going to create another folder and call this tails. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to remember what my other folders were called. So I've got metallic print building blocks, solid rounds. So the prints are going to be rounds for me. Rounds are going to be rounds. Curls, this is going to be 260s. So maybe I want to call this folder 260s. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what else I've got. Decorator foils. So decorator foils to me is different than what they're calling toppers. So for now, I'm just going to call this foil shapes. And create that folder. And then, oh, and then links are good to have too. So I'm going to add that as a separate one. And there's a little bit of reason I'm making these separate folders, which it'll make a little more sense here once we start adding them to stuff. What did I click on? Folder, and then, oh, I closed my folder. That's what happened. So building blocks, let's see, I got links. Numbers I've already got. Oh, and then helium is another one. Do I have helium already? Helium there, okay, good. And then that's more rounds. Rounds for helium bouquet, that's rounds and foil. So these are kind of mixed, which we'll figure that out later. Tails, toppers, and tough decks are rounds. Okay, awesome. So now that I've got all these figured out, according to this, I'm not separating my rounds and my helium based on brand. But if I wanted to, I can go to my grounds and I can add another folder and I can do Qualitex. Create folder, and add another folder. And call this, let's say, Tough Text, right? So now I can do this. So now if I'm going to my building blocks, I've got nothing in any of these folders. Round says 2 items, but what that is that's 2 different brands, right? So you can subdivide these however you like, but let's start with 260s. If I want to upload, I'll go to my building blocks and I'll click on, let's make it so you can see it a little bit, or it won't let me. Trying to make this smaller so you can see it, but that's fine. So I'll go to curls and I will highlight all of these curls. 1, 2, 3, how many does it say? And then hit open. Now I can't leave this page until these have completely gone up. I mean, you may be able to leave when they've started uploading and you can see all the preview photos like this, but I tend to wait until they're fully uploaded because I've had some not upload in the past. And it's caused me some issues when I was trying to rush through it. So I highly suggest to do these one folder at a time, upload everything, let it continue uploading, and then when it's done, you can go on to the next one. I'm going to now pause this for it to finish. Okay, so these are finished uploading, so I'm going to go back to my building blocks. 260s now has an icon, which is really cool. Now I'm going to go to my rounds. I'm going to drop in my tough text. I'm going to go to upload. And I'm going to go back to my building blocks and I'm going to go specifically to my Tough Text solid colors. And I'm going to click on one of these, Control A or Apple A to get all. And I'm going to hit open. And again, I'm going to wait for all of these to upload. And when they're done, we'll come back to finish some more. Now Tough Text is completed. I can go back to rounds, click on Qualitex, click on upload. And the same thing, go back to my building blocks and I'm going to go to my Qualitex round latex balloons. Highlight all those, hit open, and then again, I'm going to wait for all of these to upload, all of these to finish going in, And once they're all finished upload, we'll continue with the rest. Now Qualitex are done. If you see the round, you've got Toughtex and you've got Qualitex here, which is really great. If you see the little squares in the background, that means they were PNGs and they have transparent background, so that's going to help and come in handy later. And going back to the building blocks, I've got 260s here, and then we can fill in the rest of these, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. Once you finish putting all your shapes into your building blocks, and you have all of them into the folders, then you're good to go, and we're ready to start using those in some of our templates. So now that we have this, let's get into the next step.